everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your natal Jupiter in the ninth house, which happens to be the house that it rules. Before I continue, I want to give a shout out to advancedastrology.com. When I do a lot of these informational videos, I do consult at least one site that I vibe with, and then I see some of the information that they're putting out because I can do it without using a website, but I choose to kind of double check to make sure that what I'm saying is kosher with so-called experts. And so even if I take some of the things that they mention, I do riff off of that. So I'm not just reading verbatim from a website. And actually, occasionally I want to quote it directly, and I will acknowledge that when I do. But anyway, yeah, so I'm a sun in Sagittarius, and I know all about the ninth house because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and so that planet and that sign are connected to the ninth house. So it's all about expansion with the ninth house. It's about expanding your mind through higher education. It's about expanding your geography or, your travels through long distance travel versus the third house, the opposite house, ruled by the opposite sign of Gemini, which is connected to, local area type of roving and rambling around. So the ninth house, let's see, what else would we say about it? It's the God house. So it is your philosophical framework. And even an atheist has a philosophical framework. They're not devoid of a philosophy of life. A philosophy of life simply means what you think the meaning of life is and what is your duty or what is the ultimate goal in life. Obviously some people just think that they're here to keep their bodies alive, so they're just like trying to keep their job and they're trying to save money so that when they have to quit their job, when they retire, that they can still keep their bodies alive. And so that's about as far as their philosophy goes. But some other people have other ways of perceiving reality, and that would be what the ninth house represents. The ninth house, being the house of higher education, can mean that a person who has Jupiter here has their world open up if they go to university or to college. And this is something that I'm just thinking of on my own, and I haven't. When I look at these articles, I kind of skim them. They might say something about that, but I think about somebody who maybe comes from a small town, or maybe is the first one from their family to go to college, and they've been raised in a very kind of limited environment where there's not much differences in various aspects of life, and then all of a sudden a more metropolitan area, more diverse studies and things to explore, that can really be great for somebody like that. That's not going to be true for everybody who has this placement, obviously, but that can be very expansive, and that can create a lot of opportunities for somebody who has experienced the opposite of that up until that point. This is also good for foreign languages. So there is that connection between travel and speaking foreign languages. So certainly that could take you to other countries because uh, the language of those countries. And who knows, maybe even before your conscious mind says, hey, I'm going to travel a lot, maybe you just have this yearning, uh, like in high school, for instance, to learn a foreign language, and then one thing leads to another and all these doors open up. That's what I think about with Jupiter. It's like a lot of doors opening up in certain aspects of life because the person has that placement here. So that connection with luck and Jupiter, I would call that alignment. So I do feel that luck is actually where people find harmony with what they want, the kind of like their hopes and wishes or their dreams, aligning with whatever it is that is in their reality. And so you would already have these tendencies to begin with. You may, like if, for instance, when you were a little kid, if you did go to a foreign country and you just were like in awe, and you might have vowed to come back to that country or just to travel in general, you might have gotten a taste of it. But in any case, when they say luck, I say alignment. It's part of your nature. But I will say that the ninth house has been considered maybe the luckiest house, but definitely a very lucky house because of Jupiter. And if you believe in just random luck, I suppose, then this is a great placement to have for sure. But the luck will specifically be when you're doing things that are of a ninth house nature. So through traveling far away from your home base, for doing something that opens you up to other people from other religions and you know nationalities or ethnicities, cultures. These are the kind of things, languages. And this, normally, a person like this who has this placement will be very broad minded because of Jupiter is the largest planet, and the ninth house is the the house of expansion. So expanding your worldview would certainly fit into this theme of that. You may have an adventurous spirit because uh, Jupiter and Sagittarius are associated with that. And people, and this is interesting too, I would say, if you look at your sun sign, because for instance, let's say your sun sign is in Taurus, and you have Jupiter in the ninth house. I was laughing because I tend to think of Taurus people as couch potatoes. And please, if you're a Taurus, don't get mad at me. I have Taurus rising, and I'm sitting on a couch right now as I record this, and I have the sun in Sagittarius. So I have these signs in different places. And I don't think there's any shame of sitting on a couch whatsoever. But yeah, even as a Taurus, you may have wanderlust and a strong sense of adventure. So that would be great. And it's a given somebody like an Aries is already there, or a sun in Sagittarius. You can be somebody who is very ethical or moralistic because Jupiter represents that through the God principles. And the this is also true of Sagittarius, that the shadow side of this is being preachy, is being on a high horse. And sometimes I have to say that Sagittarius, or in this case Jupiter, may what's that saying? May not walk the talk. And that's what we call a hypocrite, right? The person who acts holier than thou and yet is not able to even live by your own principles all the time. And, I think that that's human nature, but definitely look at that tendency if there's some truth to that. But they use a word on this website that I find very interesting. They use the word visionary. I can't find it right now, but I think they use the word visionary. And Sagittarius, think about what's in that word, sage, which can be the wise person. So this is Sagittarius's house. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so Jupiter in this domain can be somebody who is sagacious. If we think about the visionary, it's almost like a prophet or something. I don't know about, predictive abilities or anything like that. Really, the ninth house is the bigger picture. And if you want to look at it from an intuitive perspective, that could be it. But I really think it's also connecting the dots, even in the physical realm, where you can see how something is going to play out because you just are able to take in more of the information from different angles. Some of you may expand your mind through academia, and that means that maybe you get advanced degrees, and that is where you focus your expansion on. I will say that all of you probably share one thing in common, that you have a lot of optimism. And this is one of those things that can be very helpful if your sun sign is in, let's say, a sign like Capricorn, which tends towards pessimism, that the Capricorn person sees as quote unquote realism, or a sign like that, or just even maybe a sign like Cancer, who might be a bit of a worrywart and is always trying to fend off some future disaster, maybe. I don't know. But this kind of, I think, gives you trust in the universe that things will work out in your favor. Okay, they mentioned, I've never heard this before, but I'm going to put this out there because some of you may be interested. They said that if Jupiter is well aspected in this house, and then they said that other indicators in the natal chart, that you can achieve fame. Now, first of all, I have always said that fame sounds like hell on earth. I mean, success is a different story, and becoming wealthy, that would be a different thing. But fame, where people recognize you all the time, I actually don't know why it would be in the ninth house. I've always assumed the 10th house. The 10th house is at the top of the charts. Of course, the ninth house is right next to it, and that if you look at a chart, it tends to show itself on the top. Sometimes the 10th house is kind of to the side, and but anyway, they're both up there. But I really don't know why specifically the ninth house, unless it has to do with the luck aspect. Another thing that I wanted or that they mentioned, is the midheaven, which is the cusp of the 10th house. I've seen this when I've done private readings, where people will have their Jupiter or some other planet in conjunction with the midheaven, but it's coming from the ninth house side. So when that happens, if you have Jupiter, but it's very close, so in other words, it's not close to the ninth house cusp, it's close to the 10th house cusp or the midheaven. MC, you'll see it labeled on the chart. If it's there, then it can mean that the person is perhaps doing something of a spiritual nature for their career. But even I would assume anything that's ninth house related, whether it's travel. Yeah, I didn't see anything, but maybe somebody who's a flight attendant. I could see that. But even another thing could be, if it's not a spiritual type of work, it could be in the publishing field. Maybe it's in academia. But yeah, because the 10th house cusp, whatever sign is there, that can give a hint as to the type of work the person gravitates towards. But then you also look at planets that are aspecting that ascendant. I mean, that midheaven. Okay, is there anything else that I missed? No, I think I got everything. So, anyway, I hope that this resonated with you and that you enjoyed it. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.